Hey, 57, what's up, dude? Everything, everything is breaking. Everything has gone crazy. Stuff no work. I gotta fix now. What's up, man? Happy Sunday. Oh, the vice pops in, and he's like, poof, I'm gone. I know, man. I don't envy Twitch. They've got to have better detections for that, but hell if I know what they are. Dude, I've been busy. This is like one of the first weekends we haven't had any motocross stuff going on, and I've been hella busy. Just been working on everything. Tons of small projects around the house. And then tons of projects at work too. All right. Sorry, I had to back up the timer a little bit, fixing a few things, but we're about to get started. Hope everybody's having a great night. Had a good one today. Just, like I said, busy. Busy. It's a busy beaver today. All right. I think we're good. Let's kick it off. Woot. Hey, I brought up the right camera. Awesome. Woot. What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's having a fantastic Sunday. Welcome to Sunday Night Hack Live. That's not what it's called. I'm just going to call it that. I have been running my ass off today, taking care of everything for everyone. And all my best laid plans, everything is like, cool. Well, I can knock this out. I can knock this out. I can go knock this out. None of them worked. Every single one of them had problems. So I thought, okay, this will be great. No problem. I'll get all this stuff knocked out. Not even a chance. Not even close. Only thing that kind of worked out well is, hey, Blur, what's up? Also, Dr. Norsk, what's up, man? Yesterday was one of them days too, man. Like, I had a whole list of stuff I was trying to fix. The cold tub that I've got here at the house, the chiller is busted. So I went yesterday and made a bypass for the chiller so I can just shut off the flow to the chiller. I could put the bypass in and let the water at least keep circulating. Well, no, it's just so hot in that room in the house that I opened the cold tub up and the water's chilling out, just sitting at 91 degrees. I'm like, okay, this is just going to breed like horribleness. So I went through all that trouble to not have to drain the tub. Ended up having to drain it anyway. It's like, well, F me for trying. You know, I did finally get the chiller decoupled. That was supposed to have happened yesterday. And then after that, it was figuring out like weird charges that are appearing on one of my credit cards because of something that happened with a loaner car for my brother's car that was in the shop. And then it just spiraled. Like it was just a never-ending weird, like rolling nat ones all damn day. That's what it was. Took part in the Trace Lab CTF. Oh, dude. Wait, did I miss that? Hold on. Was yesterday... Wait a second, hold on. I'm missing something here. Dude, it was your birthday? That message didn't even show up in here. What the hell? Dude, happy birthday, man. Let's go. What are you, like 18 now? You're finally an adult? That message, that's wild. Hey, Saint, thanks for bringing it up because it didn't even register on the chat on my side. So, dude, happy birthday, man. 40, bro, you're still a spring chicken. Hell, I'm 42. Look at me. Not as spry as when I was 20. Not even gonna lie to you. Well, dude, let's happy birthday, man. Oh, yeah, we're getting ready to... No, we're out of birthday season. We're in the lull right now. 40's the new 18. Man, it sure feels like it, dude. I don't know what it is, but it's like Gen X and Gen Z are aging like milk. And for some reason, millennials are aging like wine. I don't get it. I don't know what it is. Oh, too fun. Too fun. I do got to be real with you, though. I got a new flavor of Jocko, and I'm not really a fan of it. They didn't have the normal sour apple, so they sent me lemon lime. I am not digging it. I got to send them some feedback. I was like, hey, guys, this one is harsh in my buzz. Hey, Killer, what's up, dude? All right. Let's see. Where did we leave off last night? Oh, yeah. I know where we left off. I closed Bloodhound because I think the Bloodhound interface was messing with everything and slowing down the computer. Well, I say that, and now I try to switch over to the terminal, and it's still hella slow. What the crap? That's right. Not sponsored by Jocko yet. If I one day ever become so popular to have a sponsor, I will tell them the truth. I'm like, hey man, this product kind of not so awesome. This one over here, really good. This one, not so great. Needs a little bit of work.
Hack the planet!
Hack the planet! One of these days. That's right. One of these days. Well, this is annoying. I closed Bloodhound because I thought maybe the Bloodhound interface inside of Mozilla. Hang on. Let me say something. I have Chromium, don't I? I do. Let me try something real quick. I don't know if Chromium will run better than Mozilla. I think so, just because I know the developers for Bloodhound and for Mythic. And they do not even want to try and support Mozilla. It's a 2% market share. It doesn't even make any sense for them to go chase down bugs in Mozilla. So hold on. I'm going to try something here. I gotta know what my password is. Because I don't even know what the password is here. Console. Let's see. $0 value. There it is. Now we're cooking with propane. Let me log in over here. Let me transfer all this stuff over here. Ah! It's in Fed mode. First thing, get it out of Fed mode. There we go. Now we're in hacker mode. Oh, wait, I forgot. Damn it. Stupid WebGL BS. All right, fine. We'll stick to freaking Firefox. Shut up, baby. I don't know it. Okay. Anyway, let me get logged back into Bloodhound. So what we were looking at is we have pwned Cyrax thoroughly, and we've stolen its key tab. So what we can do now here is, if we come look at Vagar, inbound permissions, inbound execution privileges, is that it? Yes. Here we go. No, that was not correct. Hang on. It's Rhaegal who has the permissions. It's just weird that it's not showing up in here. Hang on. Rhaegal. There we go. Hang on. So this is what we're taking a look at right now. Let's go grab... Was it Rhaegal? Was it Viserion? Hang on. Linux users. Everything logged out overnight, so like what I had set up, I don't think had it. Let me see. Was it Viserion who had the outbound permission? Let me see. Yeah, Viserion has the outbound permission to write a spin over to Vagar. That's what we're looking at right here. Boop. So what we're going to do is we're going to go take a look at a couple things in here. There's two things that we noticed in here. Yeah, so yeah, Viserion has our write SPN permission. Hang on, where's the whiteboard of knowledge? Let's bring this up. Okay. So we did this. So for Vagar here, that's the server we're trying to get into. Let's make a note here. So Viserion, he's got a write spin permission. So write SPN. But then also LX01 had something special to it. So let's go look at Cyrax again. Just to set the stage for everybody real quick here. Cyrax had an SPN that was dangling over here. Did it? Actually, I take that back. Let me see. Take that back. I think it was Vagar that had the dangling SPN. No, which one had that? Hang on. Let me check my notes real quick. Oh, wait. That was in our terminal. That's where we had that. Yeah. Hang on. Let me bring the terminal up. Here we go. So for some reason, Cyrax here, this Arax one has an SPN that doesn't exist in here. So hold on, yeah, let me go look at Cyrax again real fast. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of Kerberos shenanigans in here. I thought it should have showed up on Cyrax. Hang on one second. We had an FBI one or a flashbang? Yeah. FBI, open up. Let's see. I thought it was in here. Let me see. No, I don't see it. There was another one in here called, like, Arax. Wait, was it at the very top? Oh, here we go. Yeah, thank you, 44. I'm looking in the wrong spot. I was looking down the spins. Down here it is. So in allowed to delegate, we've got HTTP Arax and this. And we got the same thing over from our little in-packet script here. Right? So what we saw is that Cyrax was allowed to do constrained with protocol transition over to Arax right here. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to use Viserian's account, which we compromised last night. We'll have to go get a new TGT from Cyrax for Viserian. So let's make a note of that real quick. So this one had, let's come down here. So then we also had a TGT, that's a terrible G, TGT for Viserian. So we're able to go get that and work with it. Now, once we have this, now this is going to bring us up to here. Right there. So now once we've got this, we can actually start working on this line. So once we have Viserian write an SPN, and the one it's going to write is, it should just be like Arax, or we'll probably do like the FQDN. So we'll probably come in here, we'll say, hey, we want to write, what would it be? It'd be Arax, yeah. Let's see. Arax dot Dracarys dot lab. There we go. And then, actually, I screwed that up. It should be HTTP right there. Slash. There. God, that's terrible. Hold on. Hang on. We can fix it. We have the technology. Take that, scoot that right out there. There we go. All right. Ooh, no, not like that. There we go. So what we'll do is, this is going to be HTTP slash. So this is the spin that we're going to write over to it. So once we get that, then we're actually going to go create an Arax machine account. So what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll create Arax, because that account doesn't exist, so we can register it just like we did the root account. So we'll create Arax $, and then what we'll do is then we're going to do RBCD on Arax. So RBCD. Yeah, on Cyrax. Or Cyrax. There we go. So this is the steps we're going to go through in here. Just like that. I never would have moved it that way. Awesome paint skills. Dude, I pretty much grew up on Microsoft Paint. So then after let me think about this. So after we do the role-based constraint delegation, the next thing we're going to do is then we'll actually go down and we'll actually then do the ticket request. And so for that, then what we'll do is we're going to get our service ticket. And I gotta remember what the commands are for this. Get service ticket. Here. Normally, I would do this with something like Rubius. But since we're not working on Windows, we're doing this on Linux. I gotta use the Impacket suite for this. But that's fine. This is fine. Everything is fine. Typically, whenever I'm doing a penetration test, I actually have two attack boxes set up. I'll have a Windows one and I'll have a Linux one. So if I need to use a more comfortable tool, like something like Rubius, I just do it from the Windows machine. If I want to do something that works better in Impacket, I'll just go do it from the Linux machine. And here I just have the one. It's fine. This is fine. I guess I could have made myself a Windows machine over here. So let's do this. First thing we need to do is we need to go get a new ticket for Viserion. So we've already pretty much got that set up. So let's go look in the temp directory. And we should see one in here. Hey, there we go. So this is Viserion right here. We can tell because it's 1110. Our connection, if it was still live, would be 1111. So this is the one that we want to grab. So we'll download that, and then we will download it to our computer. And then we'll go set that guy up. And we'll make sure it works real quick before we do this. And hopefully, like, unlike last night where we had to... So speaking of stuff that's like constantly breaking and having to go fight it, last night we had to go fight all the clock drift amongst the lab machines. For some unknown, ungodly, demonic reason, all the clocks just got out of sync. Yo. Hey, Mob Farmer, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome in. Hold on, what was that file I just downloaded? I don't remember. This was KF9E6T. Okay. Let me go grab this real quick. There we go. Let's go grab that, and then let's just go double check that it works. That was for root access. Hang on. Yeah. That's for root testing again. Damn you. Wait, there we go. Oh, actually, here we go. Yeah, let's just make sure that this new ticket's going to work correctly. And then once we know that this TGT works, and of course it doesn't. Nice, that's fine. This is fine. Everything is fine. When was that one last created? Let me look at something real quick. Yeah, we grabbed that. Can I scroll? Thank you. This one was modified at, let's see, 0028. Surely that's not old. Who was this one created? Hang on one second. Let me look something here. Oh, it might have cycled already. Hang on. Nope, that's not what I want. Where is it? Let me relist this real fast. All right. There's a 15-second window in here where we shouldn't see any Kerberos tickets. There we go. All right, let's go grab the latest one here. Just to make sure we've got it. Download. All right. And then we got to go through this song and dance one more time here. Damn it. I should have noted the file name. What is it? It is BRO. BRO. Right. Come on, computer. You're killing me. I need you to go faster. Oh, wait. There was an error in this. I forgot. Balerion.Dracarys didn't know how to resolve that. It should have been the FQDN here. Balerion.Dracarys.lab. All right. Come on. You can do it. You can do it, little machine. Anytime now? Maybe? Kind of, sort of? It's thinking. Oh yeah, there are typos in there. I misspelled Dracarys. I love how it just fails silently. Like, hey, we don't know who that is. No, it's just, there's just nothing. All right, there we go. Cool, so the Viserion one is working. So now, what we can start doing here is, typically, actually, I kind of wrote the order of operations a little bit differently here. Let me think about this. Normally, I would think about this to go make the machine and then do it. I guess there's no reason why we couldn't do it. Actually, do we even need to go make that Eric's machine? I think so. Well, there's two different ways around this. Because he has write SPN. Yeah, hang on. Let me double check something real quick. Because I think I'm conflating two different attack paths in my head when looking at this. So, Cyrax is allowed to delegate over to Eric's in here, right? But we also have let me think about this. So we set up role-based constraint delegation because Cyrax accepts delegation from Arax. So Arax is the machine we're going to make. So we'll have full control over the Arax account. Then we'll use role-based constraint delegation with like get service ticket from Impacket to get affordable ticket. And basically for it, administrator on Cyrax. Then we feed that affordable ticket into Cyrax's constrained delegation. And then we get a ticket. That'll give us a ticket for administrator on Arax. Let me think about this correctly. God, there's so many Kerberos loops to jump through here. Hang on one second. Let's go back over to the paint real fast so I can think about this. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to make sure I've got the order of operations correct in here. What we're going to do is, yes, so we'll use, I need to double check, I think Impacket might have the ability to do this, otherwise we'll have to go figure out a tool that will let us go write the SPN over to, to Vagar. So, yeah, we want to write the SPN. Yeah, so we'll add that ghost SPN over to Vagar. Hang on, let me double check this. There's so many moving bits here. Actually, yes. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. So Cyrax is allowed to delegate to Arax, right? I know that's real tiny, but you can barely read it right there. Cyrax can delegate over to Arax. Arax is a machine we're going to control. And then we're going to... So we'll create the Arax account. Then we'll configure the role-based constraint delegation we'll get a TGT for Cyrax to do that. And then what we'll do is, gosh, does Impact have a role-based constraint delegation tool? Hang on, that's part of the thing that's tripping me up here. Let me see. Where's my browser? Okay. Too many windows open. Here we go. Let's see. Hey, Purple Core, what's up, dude? Let's see. Impact at RBCD. Does it have an RBCD? Let's see. Oh, it does. Awesome. Hey, Ford. Okay, yeah, Ford just confirmed it does too. We found it right here. Bam. Bingo, bango. I don't think I've ever used rbcd.py from Impacket. I don't think I've ever used it. I don't think I've ever done role-based constraint delegation on the Linux side. Like I said, typically I would go do this through Rubius on a Windows machine. Rubius makes it pretty dirt simple, in my opinion. But that's fine. We can work with this. We do this. We have the technology. So now, the other thing is do we have a tool? Let's see. Impacket, add SPN to machine account. Do we have a tool in Impacket that'll let us do that? We can get the user SPNs, but that's for Kerber roasting. Ah, so there is an add spin. Nice. All right, hold on. Let's go take a look at that real quick. Because if we can then just go add in the SPNs that we need, we want them to match this. HTTP, AirX, and then the other one here. Let's see. Add SPN.py? Add spin? Do we have an add SPN.py? We do not. Lame. Get tgt.py. Hang on, let me check something real quick here. .py. Where is that command? So that's in home local bin. Let's cd over to that. Let's see. Cd and then go to local bin. Let me see what commands we've got in here. Because all the Impacket commands, the way we installed it, they all should have installed. And we should have them in this .bin directory. Make it nice and simple. But is add SPN in here? Let's see. Hold on, the computer's just being god-awful slow. See, we got get NP user, that's not it. Get user SPN, that's for Kerber roasting. Huh, so add SPN isn't in here for some reason. Let's see. Yeah, so there should be a Impacket add SPN. Hang on, let me go look at the examples directory over on the Impacket right here. Yeah, I don't see add SPN in here. Bloody AD does, will do SPNs nicely. Okay, well, I've actually never used Bloody AD. Bloody AD. Wait, hold on. Can I just add that directly into Kali? Because if so, that would be awesome. Or actually, we may already have it. Let's go double check real quick. Oh God, why is the virtual machine running so slow? There we go. Bloody AD. Oh, add SPN is in Curb Relay X. Gotcha. Let's see. Do we have Bloody AD in here? If not, we'll just go install it. I hesitate to say real fast because this computer's running like a one-legged turtle in the hurdles. Okay. It's fine. We can fix that. Use our handy dandy alias command. Excellent. Not sponsored by Jocko yet. All right, cool. So now we'll have Bloody AD, which I've never used before. Is it... Oh, it's capital AD. Rude. Let me check. I'm just going to run it to check the help menu real fast in here. Yeah. Okay. So where do we go? Okay, so we want to specify domain, username. We'll skip password. We'll use Kerberos. And then, what is TAC-F in here? Let's see. What's causing the Linux shell to run so slow? No, this is on a virtual machine that's dedicated to it. It should be running just fine. Let's go check Proxmox real quick. It might just be the interface here. Hang on, let me close Royal and reopen it. So this is actually running on dedicated hardware, Mob. So it should be running like stupid fast. And even then, I've never seen like an AI terminal agent cause that kind of lag on the whole. It's like the whole system's lagging out. I have no idea why. Hey, Rabbit, what's up, dude? There we go. I don't care about connecting to the DC. I just want to connect over to Kali. Let's see. Now, this also isn't like a pure shell, though, Mob. We're also running a Kali VMC, or Chasm VNC. So we're having a full, basically web-hosted VNC connection in here. I don't know why this thing is being such a butt. Especially since we gave this computer a ton of resources. It's got 4 CPUs and 32 gigs of RAM. And we can see in Proxmox here. Let me find it real quick. Like over here, nothing, right? It's chill. 4% of the CPU, only using 41% of the RAM. There's no reason for it to be acting like a turd. Okay, so what do we need to do for this? Let's see. What I need to know is what those verbs do. Do we need to... what add, get, set, and remove do? The rest of the options are all pretty straightforward there. It just says add function. Okay, fine. Let me go find out how to do this. Let's see. Bloody AD add SPN. All right, so what command is it suggesting here? Let's see. Set object target username. In this case, it won't be a username. It would be on like on a machine account. Now, do we need to specify all the ones or just like one of them, right? Is it going to wipe them and just set the whole thing? That's all right. Let me go check the actual repository here. Because Bloody AD is a new tool for me. Do they have a wiki up here? Let me see. User guide. Here we go. Let's go. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, what does add actually do? Add commands. Here we go. So for add, we could add a bad successor computer DC sync DNS record, generic all. That would be nice. RBCD, shadow creds, UAC. So that's our add commands in here. Let's see. So you said it might be an MS LDAP option. Let's see. Here we go. MS LDAP add SPN. Let's see. Now this is for setting it on a user, but we're not setting it on a user. We're setting it on a machine account. So that's what I'm trying to make sure here. Now let me come right back up to the top here. Let's see. Find certain page. Find like SPN. So we looked at add SPN, but that was specifying it for a user account, which technically, I mean, that may work. Let me do something real quick, because all these changes are technically actually going to be taking place on the domain controller. So here's what I'll do. DC01, let's make a snapshot of you real fast. Where's here to snapshots? Take snapshot. It's gonna be free RB CD stuff. Take a snapshot of that real fast. So that way, if I completely borkify it, we can just reset it. Snapshot create failed. Damn it. See, this is the part that I'm concerned about is, will this be... What I want to know is, what option is this going to do? And it shows up in the wiki, it doesn't show up in here. Let me look at this wrapper real fast in here. Let's see. No, that's not showing it. Let's see if we could find it in the code real fast. Let's see. Here's LDAP. Let's see. I tell you what, let's do this real quick. Let's come back to the main here. Let's go, we'll just trace through it real quick. So here's bloody AD. So from bloody AD, it's going to import main. Let's go over to main right here. Dude. And then for the arg parse, where is it actually going to pull out the option in here? Let's see. Where's it actually pulling this out from? Here we go. Run command, sub help command. Okay. Let me figure out where this run command here is. That's not what I wanted. Maybe set object would do it. Let's go check real quick. Oh, let me jump down to the user guide there. There you go. Where is... Let me try set object. That didn't help. Yeah. Set object. Let's see here. I love how like absolutely helpful this is. Let's see. Maybe we could do a get object on it first, so we have all the information that we just need to then forward and modify it for a set command. Let's see, does it have a get object in here? Let's see. It does. We have a get object. So, get object and then the target. All right, let's go try that real fast. Because if that's working, then let me get back over into the working directory here. So add if it doesn't exist, replace if it does for the set object tac v. Okay. Let me see here. So what we need is all right, let's just do this. Export. There we go. We can start with this. Let's get our KRB5 for Bessarion. And then what we'll do is we'll do bloody AD. And then we know we had to give it the username. So the username is Bessarion. So that's the user we're targeting. Yeah, Vice Ryan. There we go. And we're not giving it a password, so I said use tac K in there. And then what else do we need? I think we need the domain that we're working in. Let's go give it that idea there. Let's see. Yeah, we want to give it the domain, and then DCIP, I don't think we'll need because we've already got that set up in Etsy host. So then for the domain, it would be dracarys.lab in here. And then, was it yeah. Host name or IP address of the DC. Okay. So in that case, host, this will be Valerian.dracarys.lab. Let me bring this up so y'all can actually kind of see it here. I hit enter too early. Let's see, then what else are we going to need? We shouldn't need to specify the DCIP. We've got that already set up in Etsy host. So then I think it's the actual command here. No, we want to do get object. And then let me try this real quick so I can see like what the actual objects are. Target SAM account name. Okay, perfect. So what we want to get is we want to get Vagar. But it's Vagar dollar in here. Okay, that didn't go well. Okay, so it didn't like the DCIP. That's where it was failing on there. So I guess let's go ahead and give it that. What was that option? I think it was tac DCIP. And that should be 10.4.10.10. And then we'll try getting the object again. KDC error S principal unknown. Server not found in Kerberos database. Did I just spell Vagar? Let me see. Yeah, I did. I think it's VHAGAR. That was the second biggest struggle last night, was just spelling all the damn names right. VHAGAR. Wait, hold on. That's the right name. VHAGAR. Yeah. This is why I pack these computers with so much resources, because they don't get slow like this. This is obnoxious. So we exported the KRB5CC name. We told it to use, this is Viserian's ticket granting ticket right here. And then for some reason, Ccache get TGS. Do we have to go get the TGS first? The funnest part about attacking Active Directory from Linux is fighting your tooling and syntax. Bro, you're not wrong. Which is why this is good practice, though, right? Because we know this works in here. Let's see, so we've got username, Vice Iron, Kerberos, direct, let's see, I spelled the domain correctly. Did I spell Balerian correctly? I could have misspelled that. Hang on, let me go double check it. Maybe we gotta use the full FQDN? It's possible. Bal-E Ryan. Bale Ryan. Okay, did I spell Balerian correctly in the frickin' command? I did not. I did Rian instead of Ryan. Oh, that would be why the D... You know what? Now that I think about it... Hang on, I gotta try something real quick. That should have been the first clue there. Because we have... At Etsy host. The command will eventually catch up here. Yeah, because we already had it in here. Yeah, I'm an idiot. So what should have tipped me off is when it couldn't resolve it, and I had the typo in Balerian. We don't need this DCIP. We've already got that handled in the Etsy host. Yep, typos. When we raided over to Griffin last night, he's like, hey, how did everything go? I was like, the hardest part was typing in DNS names correctly. Now, the good thing is there's a list of all the service principal names. So if we need to go add ours and do set object, and I think it was... I think 44 was saying, basically, we have to go write the whole thing out. Yeah. It's not DNS. It's not, it can't be DNS. Surely it's not DNS. It was DNS. Okay. So if we got to do set object, because I just don't know if any of the other commands work. 44 is saying that set object would work, but set would imply overriding everything, and that's what he was saying. So let's take this. Let's go copy it over to a text file real quick. And then we'll kind of just draft out what our command is going to look like in here. Let me drop this in. So I'm gonna just do it like this real quick. Because we don't want to, we want to leave all of these in place because they're all serving a purpose. But what we want to do is we want to go add our own into this, in here. So what we want to add is the ones that were allowed for delegation to Cyrax. So let's go look at Cyrax again real fast. Sometimes DNS is the dumb nerd in the seat. Yeah, right. Oh, man. I remember one time, it was really funny. So one of my earlier jobs I had working, like my second job working like actually in security, I was a blue team for this mortgage servicing company. And truth be told, they were so bad I don't even put them on my LinkedIn. I just say financial institution. And I'm going to leave that part at that. But it was really funny because I conversed a lot with the networking team, not only being on the blue team because we had to talk about stuff, but also because I had a really strong Cisco background for like 5 years, working in that day in and day out, going through the courses and working in the teaching lab. So I went and I would talk to them about it. And it was really funny because they were like, oh yeah, Blaise, he's got a really good theoretical understanding of networking. And I was like, yeah, theoretical. And then one day there's a big outage and like the whole company's offline. And I just run a couple checks real fast and I just yell them because the network guys were just down the hall from me. I'm like, hey dude, it's DNS. Go check the DNS. He's like, no, it's not DNS. Yeah, it was DNS. Network connectivity was fine. DNS was failing. One of our staff engineers asked me why I can't just have AI do code reviews and remove humans. No. I do that like when I'm writing tools for myself, and I put a lot of test cases in there and I go through it. I put stupid stuff in there and I test them out and make sure they're actually functioning correctly. So like I'm doing live human QA against them, and I don't need super efficient code. But at the same time, I do go through and test the crap out of them before I let them go out into the world. And usually those are for small tasks. They're not for code that anybody else is really supposed to interact with. Okay, so the set object will overwrite stuff, but no idea if the add object will work. Logic states it should append. Logic does state that. I just would like confirmation on it. Hang on, I was looking up Cyrax real quick. Because we need to go get the 2 SPNs that it's allowed to delegate for here. Okay, here we go. So we need to add these over to the list real quick. Let me see if I can grab both of them. So let's go throw those over in here. Boop. All right, so now if we're going to take this, let me do one more thing real fast. Come back over to the terminal. My God, you could not run any slower. One-legged turtle in the hurdles. I just want to copy the command. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Because what we're going to do is, I like to do this. We'll copy this out, and we're going to build the command actually here in this real quick. So what we'll do is, we're going to try it with the set object way in here. So for set object, what do we need? Hold on. Because we're not going to go set all that information we got out of there. We're going to set like particular piece of information. And it looked like it had an SPN option in there. Let me change that to set. So if we can write just to the spins, that would be good. Hey, Matchster, thanks for coming online. Welcome in, man. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. Okay, name of the attribute. Well, the attribute is service principal name, so we're going to try this. We're going to hack around and we're going to find out. So what we'll do is, we'll do... Wait, what was the syntax for that?
What was the syntax? So it is set object, target, attribute. Okay. So we'll have that come immediately after it here. So service principal name. And then, now what do we set after that? Hang on. Decoding the syntax. Always a fun time. Tac v and the value. Okay, so add a value if the attribute doesn't exist. Replace value if attribute exists. Delete if no value given. Can be called multiple times if multiple values are to be set. In fact, the example they give here is for setting different SPNs. Now this is saying add value if the attribute doesn't exist. The attribute already exists, right? We're setting the service principal name. So it makes sense that what we'll need to do here is... What are you doing? This damn computer. There we go. So if we're going to be setting this, what we want to do is... Let's do that. And then... Yeah, I'm doing the scrub way. Don't at me, bro. There we go. That was not correct. There we go. And we'll just dress this up real fast. Boop, there we go. All right, so this will give us all of the existing ones here. So we don't nuke those off. We want those to stay. But this will also give us our 2 additional ones in here. Is there anything else we need? I think that might be it. So for giggles, hit Control X in Bash to edit your command in the default editor. Wait, does that actually work? Let me try this. Hang on. Control X. That did not work. But I don't know. This computer takes so long. And I'm hesitant to reboot it because it's all working now. And if I reboot it, then I've got to freaking go set the clock again. Although it might just be worth it to give this damn thing a reboot. Okay, so yeah, Control X didn't do it. Control Shift X seemed to just highlight the whole line. Oh, Control X, then Control E. Let me see. Let's see. Control X, Control E. Don't think it liked that. Worth a try, though. I love finding out new keyboard shortcuts I didn't know. So the wiki is fairly bare bones, which, to be quite honest, if you're ever looking at... So here's, let's see. So actually, it was the MS-LDAP add SPN right here. It's just the help page, right? It doesn't provide any insight into like what it's actually doing. And the reason why I was hesitant to use this is because it's targeting a user DN in here. So I don't know if that would target... And if I could go snapshot the DC, I don't know why. For some reason, whichever way GOAD deployed this lab, it just wasn't working. If I could go snapshot the domain controller to potentially unscrew this pooch, I would try that. So right now I'm trying to be like, take it a little bit more like a pen test approach. What would this do? Like, how would I go test this out ahead of time? That might also be breaking because I'm in Tmux. That could be messing with it too. No, that didn't like it. Let's see, we are in Bash, aren't we? We're not in ZSH. Oh, that's right. They switched ZSH as the default in Kali. So yeah, it could be Tmux messing with it. It could be ZSH not. It could be TSH not or ZSH not honoring it. Because like I said, I didn't actually know about that combination. That's pretty sick. Let me try something real quick. Echo foo bar. Control X, Control E. Bash. Echo shell. Bin bash? Echo shell? Well, you suck. Actually, it looks like it might be Tmux because that was actually really snappy. Like, when I was going back through the commands, there was no lag to that. Maybe Tmux is actually introducing the lag to it. ZSH doesn't use readline? Gotcha. Oh, ZSH. The shiniest of turds. All right, well, let me bring up that command we were just preparing again real quick. All right, so I think this will work. So we are going to export our KRB5 CC name just to make sure it's all good in there. Then we'll do bloody AD. We're targeting Viserion using Kerberos. We know this part should work. We just swapped out the get object for set object on Vhagar. And the attribute we're going to set is the service principal name. So what we're going to do here is come down and we're going to set all of these. Just like so. And this is going to leave all of the originals intact that we got from the get command. And then we're going to add the ones for HTTP ARX right here. All right. Let's just full send it. Let's see what happens. Oh, ZSH has its own shortcut. That would make sense. Let's see what happens. It'll probably take 13 years to paste this command. There we go. Make sure your editor's set also. Hold on. Y'all have me very curious about this. Go to bar, Control X, Control E. No, it's still not working. In ZSH, you would just turn on the VI style binding keys, and you don't have to do have the middleman. Oh, okay. I believe you that it works. I was just wanted to see it work. All right, let's go fire this, and let's see if we get 2 new bindings over in there. All right, so it says Vhagar's service principal name was updated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up. That was set object. Let me change this back to get object. And then let's make sure the new spins got added into here. So we should see these 2 right here being added in. Hey, Foils, what's up, dude? Happy Sunday, man. Well, actually, I guess where you are, it's already Monday, isn't it? So happy Monday, man. Okay, cool. So it added them here in the front, but it doesn't really, the list order doesn't really matter. But cool. So we've got these in here now. So we used Viserion to write the SPN. So that part is Dunzos. Boop, boop. Yeah, so we added these into here. So then what we need to do is we need to go add another computer named ARX. So ARX is being bound basically by DNS resolution for Kerberos. but the machine account doesn't exist and the DNS entry doesn't exist. So we can go create the machine account, which will give us the DNS entry. You can also specify the service principal name for the get object. Oh, wait, can you? Like I said, I've never messed with bloody AD before. Usually I would handle all this inside of Rubius. But now you've got my attention. No, no, go away. There we go. What was it? I think it was lowercase service principal name. I didn't like that. Oh, yeah, it's the tac adder to get a specific attribute. Okay. Let's see. I love how well documented this thing is. Service, principal. There we go. Cool. So if we needed to just get that, we could have tried it. You know what I kind of want to try? For grins and giggles, I kind of want to try this. Add SPN. I have to try this. I want to know what it's going to do. And God willing, we don't bork the lab. Because it's driving me bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Okay, so add SPN. And then the DN. So here's our distinguished name right here. So what I'll do is we'll drop that in. And then we put in the spin. So for the spin, I'm going to put in foo bar. We're going to see what happens. Wait, this said it should have been MS LDAP add SPN. Which version of Bloody AD is this? Kali can sometimes get like really old versions. Maybe this is a version issue. In which case, we already got that succeeded. I was just curious to see how Bloody AD was actually kind of working in the background. Always test the stuff out before you run it live. And unfortunately, guys, if you're kind of new to cybersecurity, particularly offensive cybersecurity, a lot of the tools can be hella unuser friendly. And this is the kind of thing you might come across. Like, okay, cool, somebody made a tool that does this thing. The errors that come back are super unhelpful. The operation of the tool can be really opaque, and what is fairly obvious to the tool creator might not be obvious to the tool user. So that's why I'm always telling you, go test out your tools before you try to do them like on a live system. I tried the Vim tmux navigator. It's a plugin for Vim and for tmux that allows you to switch between Vim split windows and tmux panes as if they were a single environment. Ooh, no, I haven't seen that. I keep my tmux configuration fairly minimal, Ken. Also, what's up, dude? And the reason was because I switch between so many different computers. I don't have like one master operating computer that I'm working out of. That I just got tired of like, oh crap, what was the default setting? I don't remember the default because I've customized it. So I had a really elaborately configured tmux config. And then after a while, I just bailed on it because I had to swap machines so much. I get new machines for every pen test that I do. I've got different VMs I spin up. And so every time I was just like, crap, what was the command now? So I just went back to like very, very baseline vanilla tmux. Oh, maybe it needs the TAC V option. Let's go check. Why are you like this? Stop. Actually, hold on. We had it up right here. Yeah, there shouldn't need to be a TAC V for this one. But actually, it looks like it's not even recognizing the MSLDAP command. So, yeah, invalid choice MSLDAP. So I'm willing to bet this version here is actually pretty old. Actually, let me try something real quick. Bloody AD. Let me see if I can find something real fast here. Let's see what version it's running. And simple things like, hey, having a version check option, bruh. Wait till you manage computers and VMs that total in the thousands, and before the total was in the hundreds of thousands. Oh, dude, I haven't done a large system administration like that. The biggest system I probably administered directly was when I worked at the Cisco lab, and we had a virtual system set up called NetLab. And it was really cool the way it worked. So it had a vSphere setup, and it provided virtual machines with VLAN tagging, and then it would dump them over a trunk into different pods of computers. So each pod was 3 routers and 3 switches, and then the connections between all the routers and switches were handled via VLAN magic on a master control switch. So it was really cool because then you could go change the topology of the lab by changing how the VLANs were tagged on the master control switch. Really cool. But even that one, I think we had 10 pods, and each pod had 3 computers to it. So you're probably talking like, with the server and the other stuff, at most 40 VMs in that environment. It wasn't huge. We could try to add object. I don't want to go through every single option in here. Let's see. All right, you talked me into it. Are AI agents a big deal? It just honestly depends on like how they're set up, friend, because they can do really cool things, but also they can shoot you in the foot too. It's just like any other tool. There's still a lot of learning pains that folks are having. So take, for example, if you hadn't heard about this, Instagram's new customer support AI agent was a little too helpful and was just allowing people to go reset emails and bypass MFA and take over accounts over on Instagram. Yeah, that was an AI agent. So it just depends on like how it's set up and like what it's doing. And it's just like developing any other piece of software, except a lot of times you're writing the instructions in plain human English as opposed to Python or C or whatever. Oh yeah, Icarus, we covered it Wednesday night on the news stream. Here, hang on one second. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Wait, that's for next week. Hang on. I gotta go to last week's news stream. Hang on. Where is it? Instagram. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Let me see if I can get this to pull up here. There we go. And here, I'll drop the link for anybody who wants to go read through it. I'm just going to bust through it real fast. That's funny because that was a joke from like last night. Why did that even copy? Piece of crap. Hang on. All right, I got another way to do this. I was joking with somebody because they said something I said sounded French, so then I converted like how to say I have a large terminal in French. J'ai un grand terminal. But yeah, this is basically what they said. Oh, by the way, just link me to my new email address. I'm sending the code for you. Bam. And it's like, there we go. I sent it to this. It wasn't even like a big hack, too. So, yeah. And they're all like, no, it's not doing that. And they're like, yeah, it's totally doing that. So, yeah, it was pretty bad. All right, where was I? Here we go. All right, since we're likely running with Hang on, I want to check something real quick. Bloody AD is probably a sim link over to something else. I want to see if I can go find the actual Bloody AD code, where it's installed on disk, and go check on it. Where is this? Let me see. Import. Because now I'm dying to know like what version this is. And when you don't do helpful options like this, you just get kind of crap like this. Import Bloody AD. Let's see. Is there a .version in here? I'm trying to know what version this is now. It's pissed me off. If I can find the Pi project, Tommel, this will tell you. So the current version is 2.5.4. You know what? Just Control D. We're done. We drop out of here. If they had real security, there would have been at least 2 people fire out, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was more for something that went public in such a big way. Oh, it went public huge. There was lots of accounts getting jacked up that way. There's got to be an engineer somewhere who said that was stupid, but was told to do it anyway. Oh yeah, likely. And in that case, when that happens, forward, you just say, hey, okay, cool. Can I get that in writing? Can I get that in email? And then you print the email and save it with all the headers. It doesn't look like there's a version option. Yeah. As far as I can tell, this version has to be really old. Let me try the help menu one more time. Make sure I didn't miss it. Actually, you know what I just realized? Hang on. Let me see what this comes back as. The Kali repository might actually show us which version it is. Hey Carson, what's up, dude? Happy Sunday, man. Bloody AD. This, according to this, it says it's version 2.5.4. But there's no MS LDAP option in here. Wait, hold on. This one has MS LDAP. It's called CYA. You live in text longer if... yeah, you live in text longer if you do. Oh, yeah. Okay. You live in tech, I think you mean. But yes. Always want to CYA. And see, here's where it's like getting really weird. This version here, maybe because this particular Kali instance is old, so maybe it's running the older version. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We already got everything we needed set up in here. Shut up, baby. I know it. Okay. Let's see. So we did this part. Then, okay, here's the next thing. We need to go create the AirX computer account. So let's do that. Create. Let's see if we still got it in the back scroll. If not, that's fine. Actually, no, that's not correct. Add computer. That was different. I think these ones... Hmm. We have 2 different ones in here. And I don't remember which ones they were. Add computer. I think this one worked. And we can use Sunfire again to make it. We just need to go set the name for it. Let me double check the name, because God forbid I typo this. I'm just going to copy it. Arax. Let's see if this still works. Hey, let's go. Okay, cool. So now we should see a new Arax command in here. Bloodhound. Let's do a new Bloodhound collection, and then we'll be able to see the changes we made reflected over in Bloodhound real fast. Hey, Chris, what's up, dude? Wait, does Bloody AD allow you to add computer accounts? Because like I said, it's a new tool to me. I probably should go brush up on it. I just haven't had the need for it. I've been able to do everything that it has like in other tools. All right, let me copy this real quick. And let's just go add that up into Bloodhound. Because I just want to see all the changes that we've got in here. That was the wrong button. Let's see. Administration. File ingestion. Once you will ingest the files. Upload. There you go. We'll let that process for just a second. Because then what I want to do is I want to make sure that Eric's account is in there. Oh, you know what I need to do? Shit. I just remembered. We need to go capture that information so we have Eric's credentials saved. Right here. Copy that. Let's go put that over into our creds repository. Which is our fancy schmancy sheet right here. We'll go grab this part, drop that in there. This is AA Ron. There we go. So now we got the password for Arax. Save that real quick. Oh, there we go. Bloody AD, NetExec, and Certify are all pretty complete AD suites. Wait, can Certify add machine accounts too? I mean, a lot of them, I know NetExec, for the most part, is usually impacted on the back end, and Certify uses a lot of impact on the back end. It wouldn't surprise me if Bloody AD was kind of doing a similar thing. All right, so this says it's done. Cool. So our Arax machine is showing up over in Active Directory, so we're good there. Also, Hats, I'm sorry, dude. The chat has been jacking up for some reason. Like, I'm missing messages from YouTube. I just saw your messages. Yeah, that Instagram hack was really disgusting and simple. I was like, come on, guys. You basically just handed out the keys at that point. All right, cool. So now that we've got this, could you not? Let's see. So Arax is done. So now what we'll need to do is actually do the role-based constraint delegation on the Cyrax machine. So what we need to do is... Ooh, did I not grab that? Tab. Let me see if I've got a... Hang on. This is going to error out because it's not running in the correct one. Let me go pull this information back out and put that into the creds also, because I forgot to do that yesterday. I got distracted by the frickin' clock skew again. Time, time, everywhere it's time. Breaking my tickets and wasting my mind. Do this, don't do that, everywhere it's time. Let's see. Grab this, copy. This computer is pissing me off so bad. There we go. Let me get rid of this because we've already got that captured. Let's drop this in here. So we did not get Cyrax's main information, but we did get Cyrax's other stuff. So nope, don't do that. Could you just not? Just clean this up a tiny bit right here. Get some good looking notes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, there we go. Because what we want is we're going to want to use, I don't know if it's going to need the 256 or the 128 or the NTLM, but this is what we're going to use in here. Let's see. Save that. So we already added the AirX computer. Now what we need to do is we need to set up the role-based constraint delegation, but we need to go get ourselves a curb roast ticket for it. So let's do... If it will come up, wait for it to do the reverse search. Come on. Anytime now. Come on, little terminal. You can do it. FYI, don't get something called bacon jerky. It will not make you happy, and you'll regret spending the money on the convenience store. I believe it. Let's see. Actually, for getting a TGT, I need to double check something on this. Because I'm pretty sure we can use the NTLM, or we can use the AES. Here we go. So yeah, we can use the AES right here. We could use the hashes also, but it'll just be easier to use the AES key, so that's what we'll do. So let's grab that. We'll pass in our AES key. What's that? Boop. And then let me go grab that out of the text file. We'll use the shorter one. We'll just use the 128 here. AES has better OPSEC these days? Yeah, it does. I don't remember, though, if it was better to use the 128 or the 256-44, but I do remember that it's more heavily frowned upon to use NTLM to go get your curb roast tickets these days. Hey, Bobby, what's up, dude? Where are we at with Dracarys? So we've worked out the attack path and how to do the role-based constraint delegation. So what we did is we added SPNs for an abandoned machine called AirX. I know that's not really super easy to read in there. AirX. And then we just created the AirX machine account. After we went on a massive side quest to figure out how to use bloody AD to make this right SPN work. Because I've never used it before. So now, we're currently down here. We're going to set up the role-based constraint delegation on Cyrax. So what we're doing is we're going to go get a curb roast ticket for Cyrax. Here. And then... let's see. What else do we need? We need to tell it like who we're connecting as. So this would be dracarys.lab / we'll do / Cyrax $, just like this. Boop. And we already gave it the DCIP, so this should get us our TGT as a Ccache file. By the way, there's two main versions. Pre-authentication format invalid. What? Let's go try the 256 key then. And if that doesn't work, then we'll try. Yeah, it should be AES key. Oop. Maybe he doesn't like the 128. That's all right. We'll just drop it in the 256. Can you? My goodness, this computer. I don't know why this VM is running like just hella slow. There's no reason for it to be. Actually, technically, this could be a network issue, come to think of it. And the reason I say that is because technically, I'm not directly connected to this. I'm connected to it over Tailscale. So maybe this is a network latency issue, now that I think about it. So we did get TGT, give it the DCIP. Let me check something. Actually, hold on. I got it up here real fast. It may not like the order of the... So a lot of times, like, for some reason, like when you look at these programs, the order they list the options in, it wants them in that more or less specific order. So the identity it wants very last. It wants AES key and then DCIP. So let's swap those around. And I know that sounds really dumb, but I've run into this with Impacket before. Latency like this, you'd have to circle the planet 3 times. I know, right? This is pretty bad. Let's see. So then let's do shit. What did it say? Hey Panda, what's up, dude? How big's your AI budget per week? I don't know. I have a Claude Max subscription, so the $100 a month one that I use personally, and then I've got another set up through work that they basically said, don't go crazy with it, but feel free to use it. So like, all right, say less, fam. All right, so DCIP and then identity. All right, let's do that. Let's see, tech. No, stop it. DCIP 10.4.10.10. There we go. Sometimes changing these arguments, like moving DCIP over to this section down here, will fix it. Pre-auth failed, information invalid. What? Didn't we just do that? Hold on, we literally just did this though. Hang on. Extract the curb 5 key tab again. Let me double check this. Make sure something didn't get screwed up in the copy. Let's see, 9DF1. Yeah, that looks correct. Well, we can also try it with the LM hash in there. Although the 256 AES should work just fine. Always kills me when people are like, maybe it's the network, when it's like a 30-second timeout. In this case, it possibly could be. And it's because I have all of the Ludus networks exposed through here. Key doesn't equal hash. In this case, it does. And so this is a hash of the password. And so that's what it's expecting. Let me make sure I spelled this right. Dracarys, Arys, .lab / Cyrax $. Yeah, that should be fine in there. I don't think it's case sensitive. Hang on, I'm trying it with an uppercase real quick, just for grins and giggles. So, like, for example, Icarus, so the NTLM hash, right? This would also be another key that we could go use for it. That's wild. Let me try the LM hash here. Take all this out. I think it's tac LM hash. And then you can leave the first part just blank and then just drop in the NTLM portion here, I believe. If this doesn't work, I'll go re-grab the keytab file since we still have the root shell up in Mythic, and we'll just decode it again and we'll try it. Oh, it's tac hashes, my bad. Yeah, because it wants the LM hash or the NT hash. We don't need to actually provide it that one. Hashes. Still failed. Okay, let's go grab a fresh copy off the server. This lab has been up for a minute, so it is unlikely, but it's possible that this one has changed. So download Etsy. What was the name of the file? It's like krb5.keytab, I think.
Warning. Virus infection alert.
krb5.keytab, cool. I didn't sure how to say that. Pinico Panko? What's up, guys? Welcome in, Raiders. Hey, Shy Hat, how are you doing? Welcome in. Hang on, let me get this shout out real fast. Pinico Panko. Welcome in, Raiders. I hope you're all having a fantastic Sunday. We're doing a little bit of Active Directory lab hacking tonight and fighting our tech. That's about it. It's a really cool lab that we're going through. Let me find it real quick. So it's called the Game of Active Directory Dracarys Lab. Yep, Windows Shenanigans. Here we go. So the Game of Active Directory, for everybody who just came in on the raid, welcome in. By the way, my name is Blaise. I am a penetration tester and red teamer. I've been doing that for 8 years and having just a fun time with it. And so we do all sorts of little hacking shenanigans on the stream, from building stuff to breaking stuff. We hack around and find out, as I like to say. And so if you're not familiar with Game of Active Directory, it's an entire CTF style lab, but not exactly. It's meant to be something called a damn vulnerable lab. It's just vulnerable in every way that the creator can make it possible. But Dracarys is a special version of that lab. And it's designed not to be super vulnerable. It's designed to be vulnerable in a particular way as like a challenge lab for did you understand stuff that you would have learned in a tiny bit more advanced Active Directory stuff. So that's what we're doing right now. We're going through this lab, having a fun time with it, figuring out why the tools suck and where they're great, and just mostly checking it out. So what we did is we actually stole an encryption file from a Linux server that we compromised. That was our initial foothold. In packet syntax is another level of hell. Oh, dude, is it? It really is. And so, yeah, so we were going through, and actually it wasn't even so much in packet. It was Bloody AD, which is the tool I've not used. I'm familiar of it. I know of it. I've not really used it though. So, but what we did is we compromised this computer, Cyrax, and Cyrax is joined to Active Directory. So we went in and stole the Kerberos keytab file. That gave us the NTLM hash and the AES 128 and 256 hashes, which in Active Directory land is almost as good as having the password. But for some reason, we're having a failure with this. So we're going to go grab a new copy from the server. So I'm going to download that etc keytab file here. And then I'm going to download it over to the server right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to decode it again. We're going to see what happens. Let's see. I think it was Python 3. There we go. I'm just going to do it directly from the downloads directory. So home, Kali, downloads, KRB5. This one. So this will go through and it extracts a bunch of information for us. That looks exactly the same as what we had. Let me go check this again real quick. So here was our previous copy that we had. Yeah, so the password hasn't cycled. It's just for some reason, Impacket is just throwing a bitch fit. And that's a technical term, by the way. Now, we actually have 2 copies of Impacket on here. Maybe it just doesn't like this version. So, let's do this. Get tgt.py. That's a different version of Impacket that we've got on this computer. Windows labs are sensitive in which order you put them in your etc host. Oh, okay. I've been testing for time roasting last couple of Windows AD labs. Have you seen any of that in GOAD? I have not even heard of time roasting. What is that? Windows AD time roasting. Hold on. So also you said go check what's in etc hosts. Let's see. I thought I had them in order from like Active Directory, like the DC downwards. I don't, but we can go change it. Sudo them etc hosts. And what we'll do is we'll just reorder these. Let's yank that, put that right there, and then we'll delete that one, put that right there. I don't think that's going to change it, but we'll try it. Let's see. Let me get this going real fast. Hold on, I heard the sound. Hey, Journey Skies, thanks for coming online. Welcome in. I hope you're having a very nice Sunday hack day. That's so wild. That should match it exactly. Let me try the other one, because we had 3 variants in here that we tried. We tried the NTLM version, and we tried the AES 128 and the 256 in here. Ah, typo. Get that out of there. Get out of there, you extra T. At the rate they're adding new features to NXC, they'll have everything Impacket can do in a year or so. NXC, if I'm not mistaken, it used to at least, unless they've changed it. NXC used to just wrap a lot of what Impacket was doing. Are they doing their own implementations of like what was in Impacket now? Can I put a verbose on here? Yeah, I thought NXC NetExec was using that under the hood. Oh no, it's TAC debug. Let's see what's happening here. Hey, Tiger, what's up, dude? Welcome in, man. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. Okay, so what's happening here? So, information was invalid for Kerberos. Weird. Dude, I've just been very, very busy, man. This was like one of the first weekends we didn't have any motocross stuff that we could go to. It's raining like crazy here in Texas. And I thought, okay, cool. I'm going to have a pretty chill weekend and get some stuff knocked out around the house. And nothing went right. Everything was all messed up. It was such a beatdown. Everything that should have been very straightforward was not even close to straightforward. This is so wild. Let me try one more thing here, because in packet, like you were saying, I think it was either Shahad or Penny. I don't know how to say the name, but was saying that hey, sometimes the order of the options can mess it up, and yes, it can. 10.4.10.10. So for grins and giggles, I'm going to try this again. Because yes, I have definitely seen that when using InPacket sometimes. All right, this is some bogusness. I know this works. Because over here, like if we ran shell ID, I think Regal? I think that's how you spell it. Let me try this. I'm going to do this for a user I know has... There we go. So Regal has never logged into this computer. This computer that we had the C2 session on is joined to Active Directory. And so we can pull information about who this user is by basically using the Linux system is intercepting it and sending that over to Active Directory to query it. That means our Active Directory system is integrated and working. So there's no reason why those hashes shouldn't work. Should the Kerberos realm name be in uppercase? I am willing to try it, Bobby. Actually, hang on. Let me check something real quick. Cat Etsy host again. Did it work? Damn it. This. Hang on. I'm going to try something real quick. All right. Connect. I just bounced my Tailscale connection, which is actually how we're connecting to this server. Is it going to be any better? Nope, it's not any better. F me. One possible issue is clock skew. I don't... Yeah, because that was the thing that was eating my freaking lunch last night, Bobby. I don't think it's clock skew, though. And here's why. I'm going to run this NXC command here. If clock skew was an error, this Kerberos ticket that we stole for Viserion wouldn't work. We get it. We get a clock skew error. The TGT would be rejected. So let's double check it real quick. So this is working. So it's not a clock skew error, because then this Kerberos authentication with NXC would not work. You know, in this case, there isn't one on that server. Let me think about this. I would have to go find where the ticket is on this machine. And we're root, so we could go read it. I just don't know where it is. Usually, the tickets we were stealing are over in /temp, right? And if you've got the key tab file, that should be fine. Like right now, you see we don't see any tickets in here. If I run this again in about 20 seconds, we'll see a ticket show up for Viserion. That was something else we had to do last night. We had to go use our backdoor account to get into... What server was that? I think it was the DC. But we had to go get into one of the machines to go fix the SSH script that SSHs into Cyrax with Kerberos that seeds Viserion's Kerberos ticket so we could steal it. That was how it was supposed to work, but the script was all busted for some reason. It was having, I think, a DNS issue. Hang on, let me run this again real quick. Yeah. So see right here, this one, this user with the RID 1110, that's Viserion right there. Let me see if I can find something real quick. Actually, hang on. Let me just check something real quick. Do we have an env command in here? No, let's not do that. Let's see. Shell env. I don't know if it will show up in here, but if we have a curb5cc name set, then that would actually point us to it. But also, I don't know which user that's actually running as. It could be running into a different process. Is that the bottom of it? I think that's it. So I don't see a curb5cc name, so that's not going to point us to where the Kerberos connection is, but that's also because this is the root user. It's not the user that's running the SSS system. Any chance the key was updated since you updated the key tab? I don't think so. Actually, hold on. We just did a Bloodhound collection, so if this was an issue, and Panico just said, hey, go check that. So let's go do that real quick. Because Bloodhound will collect when the password was last set. So let's go check that real fast. So if we select Cyrax here. Let's see. Let's see. Password last set. Where is it? I think I missed it. Oh, wait. No, there it is. Password was last set 6-2. So yeah, it was set like last week. So the password it hasn't changed yet since the time we did the AD collection in here. There is something else we could go do. We could do one more thing. I think Bloody AD will get us that information. Because we could just do the get object that we did to go get the AD object for Vagar. Yeah. Oh my god, this is so slow. I was hoping restarting Tailscale would fix this. It's really annoying because this is kind of local here because the machine running this is right down here. I'm tapping on it right now. But for simplicity, I actually connect to it over Tailscale. Okay, here we go. Let me grab this, but instead of getting Vagar, I'm going to go get Cyrax real quick. What happened to Hack the Bot? I was going through and redesigning Hack the Bot, and I just have not settled on how I want to do it yet, Ty. And so, and honestly, I haven't been on too many Active Directory penetration tests, which are things that I really like doing. So while I'm still thinking about how to go restructure Hackbot, I'm kind of just chilling out. I've been really busy with work. And honestly, from when we started Hackbot, like over a year ago, right, to where agents have evolved to now, changed just a huge amount. I'm talking light years of change. So I started doing some information gathering and thinking about it. And then as I've been learning about a couple of different like agent structures that I really like and I find to be very handy, I'm thinking about how to approach it. How much you see demand for Azure pen testing over Windows AD? Usually the two of them tend to go together. Occasionally we will see environments that are like pure Azure, and typically they're also running like Macs internally. So Mac Tradecraft has become like a big deal over the last year and a half. Yeah, but we don't have the TGT for what is it? For Cyrax. We have the key tab file, which gave us the NTLM hash and the AES 128 and 256 hashes in there. Can't wait for Hackbot 2.0 Electric Boogaloo. I know, right? Let me see here. I'm trying to scroll up and the terminal's just being slow as molasses. Stand by. Come on. You can do it. You can do it, little terminal. Let's see. I'm checking to see if Tailscale is having performance issues also. You know, Tailscale status says it's normal, but my God, this is being slow. I might have to just go drop it off a Tailscale and get back over to using WireGuard direct to it again. Because my goodness, this is amazingly slow. This computer has plenty of resources. It's barely even scratching the CPU, and we're using less than half the RAM. Do things. Let's see. Bad password count. Count set to basically never expire. Expires in the year 9,999.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
So many times. I have tried turning it off and on again so many times. Let's see. I just wanted to check. I forgot what I was even going to check here. This has taken so long. I've forgotten what I was even doing. Try the hash with NXC. I was just trying to think about that, 44. I wanted to see what it was doing in there. Let's go give that a shot. Let's see. I gotta remember what the command is for that. Let's see. NXC SMB. Actually, technically, we don't even want to use SMB. We want to use LDAP in here. God, why is this so slow? Okay. NXC LDAP. There we go. Let's see. Domain. Dracarys.lab. User. Cyrax dollar. And then I think it's... What is it for that? NXC LDAP with NTLM hash. I gotta remember what... I don't know, remember what the option is. Is it TAC H? Yeah, TAC capital H. All right. Let me go grab the NTLM hash. Yeah, in 44, this probably should have been one of the first confirmatory tests. But let's go try it real quick. Got it. And in fact, if... Can NXC spit out a Ccache file? All right, I need to tell it what system we're going to connect over to also. So let's connect to 10.4.10.10. Hopefully I got all the command options correct. So something in here is all wonky. Let me see what other LDAP authentication options we have. If it will take the AES 256, because it makes no sense why that is not working. So, yeah, so for some reason, whenever we did the key tab extraction, it did not extract it correctly. Let's see. Come on. You can do it. So authentication, username, password. Hang on, I'm double checking something real quick. Yeah. Target user hash. Yeah. That should be it. Hash should be TAC capital H. So yeah, that should have worked. Used Python instead of Python 3. Yeah, but Python actually is just a linker. So if I come look at like which Python is in here, it's going to point it over to user bin Python. And then if I expand that out, it's going to be a symlink over to Python 3. So yeah, these machines don't even really support Python 2, and you have to jump through a lot of hoops whenever you want to run Python 2 on here. Yeah, good thinking, but that's just one of the things I knew Kali kind of already did in the background. Worth double checking too, honestly. All right, so why would our NTLM hash be wrongzos? Let's see. I'm trying to see where does SSS store its actual Kerberos file, like its own Ccache file that it gets. Okay, yeah, so everything in the curb 5 key tab is what it uses for that. Let me try something else real quick. I'm just trying to... sometimes hacking is just thinking stupider. ID Cyrax. Okay, Cyrax dollar. Okay, so this is one that has definitely never logged into this computer. And it's connected, so that key tab file is correct. So there's only two options. Either the key tab file is being incorrectly decoded, or actually that's really the only option. It looks like for some reason the key tab file is not being decoded correctly. I could go find the actual password if I actually no, I don't think I could, because if this is operating, now this is supposition, Bobby. If this is operating like a regular machine account, when it joins Active Directory, it creates its own password and spits it out, and it's a big long random ass string. It's not thinking stupider, it's doing things the coder didn't count on. That's true, Ty. Yes, that is true also. Blaise is proof that the chaos can have excellent timing. Brother, this is just on par for this weekend, man. Like, every bright idea that I thought I was going to get something knocked out, it should be straightforward and real fast. It's like, life is like, and hard left. Hard right. Just zigging and zagging. Yeah, I think of all the, probably, maybe not a million, but definitely very high 6 figures worth of password hashes that I have tried to crack in my entire 8-year career. I don't think it's crossed into the 7 digits, but it's very high 6. I think of those, I've probably cracked like 5 machine accounts. And the reason for that is because you just get lucky occasionally. It's just the law of large numbers. Eventually, you're going to get a couple. They're incredibly difficult to crack. All right, so the key tab file actually is working. Something is just wrong with it. Let's try something real quick. Let's see if we can k-list the key tab file. Let's see, tat k. I don't think this actually will work, because I think this is for a... I think this is supposed to work on a Ccache file, but I'm going to try it. krb5.keytab. Oh, okay, hello. Hello, hello. So we've got a lot of things in here. Deprecated ARC4 HMAC AS128, AS256. So we've got all these in here. These live streams can log my large numbers anytime. Giggity. Damn it, man. Can you keying it from Kali, add that key tab there, and use it with other tools? Oh, possibly. Let me try. I gotta try this again. Let me try it with SMB. Maybe LDAP's throwing a wrench in here. 10, 4, 10, 10. Let's see. Domain dracarys.lab. And then username Cyrax $. And then the NTLM hash. If this is broken, this is just going to be another great example. Now, I'll tell you this also. Is that really annoying when you just want to go in here and have fun hacking and breaking stuff? Yes. But understanding what should work and what doesn't work and what caused it to break teaches you a crap ton. NetBIOS connection to the remote host timed out. What? Okay, so that's different. Let me try taking out the domain. We'll let it infer the domain here. Debugging is a valuable skill. Exactly. Yeah, it really is. All right, let me try something else here real quick. Let's go try a set of credentials we know should work, right? Because now we need to rule out the tooling. Let's go try... Let's try Sunfire by password in here. Copy. Let's go try this. So this would be user sun FYRE. Yeah, Sunfire TACP. Drop in that password. We got Sunfire's password from the decrypting it out of the database after we did the SQL injection. Okay, so I mean that's working. Let's see. All right, I'm going to try something real quick here. I'm going to see if I can convert that over to the MD4 equivalent, which would be basically take the password and convert it over into... Damn it. I copied it when I didn't want it to. Let me see. Grab this. I'm going to try and convert Sunfire's password over to an MD4 hash. And just try this. Let's see. I convert to UTF-16, little endian, and then pipe that to open SSL MD4. All right, I'm going to try this here. So let's copy that. That should be basically the NTLM hash equivalent here. If we wrap it in single quotes, we shouldn't need to escape it. Yeah. If we wrapped it in double quotes, then we definitely need to. Okay, so NTLM authentication is working like just fine right here, right? Because look at this. So what we did is we took Sunfire, took the password, converted it over to its NTLM equivalent, and then we did a test authentication with the NTLM password, basically just skipping out the conversion of the password to the hash portion there. It worked just fine. So, do I have hash ID on here? We do have hash ID. Oh my goodness, you're killing me, Smalls. Every time I select something, it highlights it. Let me grab this. And I'll show you why I'm doing this in just a second here. Yeah, so it shows up as MD4 NTLM as suspects for this. Okay, so now... Nostalgia Knot. I think that's what that is. Thanks for coming in, man. Welcome in. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. We're having a good Sunday, even though we're having to fix the lab as we break it. I don't think that this is not a reflection on Mayfly, who created the lab. This is a reflection on my jank setup. I probably should just go wipe the lab and restart. Okay, so even that comes back as a potential MD4 and NTLM. I want to try this one more time. So the user for this should be Cyrax $. I'm going to drop in that NTLM hash one more time. You bastard. Should be this one. So that confirms the NTLM hash does work, so the key tab hashes are bunk. Maybe. So we re-downloaded and re-extracted it. These two look identical, right? So typically I don't go check the entire hash. I just check the first 5 and the last 5. So we're looking at 0B4AFD, 0B4AFD, and then 88577, 88577. That's usually enough to make sure the hash is going to be correct. When hashes change, they change by a lot. It's a feature of the hashing algorithm called avalanching. That's wild. NetBIOS connection with the remote host timed out. Hey, New, what's shaking? Something is obviously jacked up with Cyrax's. Let me see. I'm checking something else real quick. I wonder if there's a way we could force the Linux machine to rotate its password, and then it would force it to update the key tab. It shouldn't be a DNS issue because, for one, in this case, Bobby, we're using an IP address. And IP addresses by IP address obviously aren't going to use DNS. And no, NetBIOS shouldn't be disabled because if we come up here and we use the one for Sunfire, works just fine. Right? Hey, no problem. So there's something odd here with this. Let me try one more thing. You only have to use the FQDM whenever you're using Kerberos, because Kerberos tickets are all bound to a host name, and it can be the NetBIOS name, but oftentimes I just use the FQDN to like remove any doubt there. And look at this. So LDAP for Sunfire with NTLM hash works just fine. Page down. Hang on. So now for Cyrax, I'm going to change this to LDAP. This is telling me there's something funky with either KeyTab did not extract it correctly, or there's something messed up in the binding there. Yeah, we'll try that. Let's see. Cyrax at dracars.lab. Okay, well, we'll try that. Let's see. Let's see. Dracars.lab. Could group policy be messing with it? It shouldn't be messing with this. LDAP should have worked just fine for this. Maybe for NetBIOS, yeah, that could be part of it. But for LDAP, no, this thing has to be able to talk to LDAP. And we know it's working with LDAP because we can go into the Linux machine and have it query user IDs for users that have never logged into that machine, computer accounts even, right? And it is obviously pulling that information in. That means that computer that we stole the credentials out of is talking to Active Directory, and it is working. So there's either something funky on the domain controller, or the credentials are not being extracted correctly out of the key tab file. Let's see, Asmatui. Asmatul? I think it's an L. Yeah. Thanks for coming online. Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Could be both. Could be both. I'm curious though. I want to try this with Sunfire real quick. So we knew Sunfire was working. Sunfire at dracarys.lab. Just as an additional confirmatory test here. Ruling stuff out. Okay, so it didn't like that, and that kind of makes sense. Hang on. Just one more quick sanity check, because sanity is certainly in high question right now. Try all uppercasing the username. All right, let's wait for this one to come back. So this one came back just fine. All right, let's go try. If it works with all uppercases, I'm going to be pretty pissed. Because Windows is not case sensitive on anything. Especially not Active Directory. Cyrax. Let's see. I thought I left AD behind me. You can't escape it, Ty. The AD is always with you. It's like a shittier version of the Force. It surrounds us and binds us. Yeah, okay, so that's failing too. So there's something funky about the credentials. Let's see. Can key tab. Let's see. You can get rid of AD if you subscribe or get Turbo. I won't make such a list thing. I will not make such a claim. If I could, dude, my subscribers would be like 100,000. Every angry sysadmin bastard operator from hell would be like, subscribe. Bam! They'd slam that button 2 or 3 times. Let me grab something here. I'm gonna send this to... All right, Chris. Take care, man. Crush it. Crush the homework. Let's see. Do we have AD CLI on this machine? Because if so, what we could potentially do is... we could actually potentially force this computer to update the machine membership in the domain. All right, hold on. Let me try something real quick. Shell MD5 sum of Etsy krb5.keytab. I'm going to capture that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to force the computer, since we're running as root, to rejoin in here. So basically to update its membership in Active Directory. And maybe that'll fix the jacked up credentials. Is the $ actually needed for the user in Cyrax? Yes, absolutely. I'm willing at this point to try it without it, though. Bro, look, Windows 2025 introduces enhanced security defaults and management capabilities to Active Directory group policy, including mandatory LDAP signing and all new deployments, and randomly generated default machine account passwords. I mean, that's usually how it was with the machine account passwords, but honestly, turning off or like enforcing LDAP signing is a big deal. I was the head of an IT department in the Navy when AD first rolled out. We were like, what is this crazy thing? Kind of like LDAP, but weird. Wonder if it'll stick around. Yeah, it was just a fad. That's what it was. I'll try it without the $ though, Bobby, just because I'm willing to try anything at this point. There's something obviously like off with it. And the whole lab deployment has been kind of funky. Yeah, didn't like that, unfortunately. Jane, stop this crazy bus. I know, right? The bastards. They are. Okay, let me check something real quick. It says this command completed. Didn't get any output from it. And those two hashes are the same. So the key tab file didn't change at all. And so, hold on, there's another thing we can do here. Let me come back over to the terminal real quick. Process of elimination this thing to death. That's the plan. Okay, hold on. I hit the wrong one, didn't I? My goodness. The lab did not, I can promise you, for everybody who's been watching while we've been working through Dracarys, the lab was not running this positively craptacularly in the beginning. I don't know why all of a sudden it has just gone to... I don't know if there is a different extractor, P44. Everybody just relies on that one. Hang on. I'm going to SSH back over into that system using the Kerberos ticket for the root computer account that we made. That's right. Divide and conquer all day, every day. I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, I need to go get a new Kerberos ticket because that one's... We got that one yesterday. It's long expired. Oh, we have so many of these. Yeah, there we go. Hold on. So this should get us a new... This will get us a new root TGT for the root computer. Yeah, so funny enough, we have a computer named root, and because the MIT implementation of Kerberos will sometimes drop the $, that actually means we can use that. We can export it as our Kerb5cc name, and then use that to SSH over into Cyrax. And it will think that because we're using the root computer, it's going to log us in as the root user. Here. Okay. AD-CLI. Then update. Let's see. No output from that. Check out Curb Extractor 2. All right, well, let's go look at that. Copy link. Making my brain hurt. I apologize, Ty. That was not my intention for tonight. There are other days when I like making your brains hurt, because that means we're learning and expanding. Let's see. Oh, this one's fairly new. Okay, cool. Fully based on the original key tab. Fixed the old tool, which only dumped one entry from key tab, then stopped. This could be painful, as the first entry in the key was already expired. Oh! Is that so? You bastard. All right, let's go grab that one and give it a shot. Exit. That is brutal, 44. Very brutal. Let me see. I don't think we need anything special for this either. Bin, Esky, Sys, Struct, those are all built-ins. Nice. CD2, key tab, extract 2. And then what we want to do is run. Let's see. Key tab extractor 2. And then we want to go to KRB 5 dot. Oh God, what happened? Damn it. You hit one wrong button and your mom got scared and said you're moving with your auntie and uncle to Active Directory. That will scare you straight and keep you out of jail. Alright. KRB 5 dot key tab. There we go. Truer words have never been said. I just can't think of no reason I need ADBS anymore. I come across it like all the time, man. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Let's pipe this out. Let's see. krb5.keytab.extracted. And then we'll go open that in the text editor and we'll take a look at it. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. Yeah, that's a good point. When we K-listed it, it did show a whole bunch of entries. But now, it was only dumping one hash. All right, so let's see here. So this is the one here. Entry 1, 2, and 3. These are the ones that we saw in there, right? So this matches in here. So 88577, that matches. The 8 is 128, that one matches in here. Let me search for this real quick. I want to find all the entries of this guy in here. Okay, here's a different hash that's further down the list. Let's go try this. Copy. 44 might have just saved some bacons. I'm just trying to stay relevant somewhat. Dude, I mean, that's the name of the game a lot of times, is feeling like I'm just staying relevant. So I was watching a short from Primogen talking about imposter syndrome and how you should feel imposter syndrome in the beginning because you don't know very much. However, that changes as you get experienced. Now, that might be true in the development world, especially if you're working with like common frameworks and your stack doesn't change very much. But in the security world, the stack changes on a damn near weekly basis. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Praise Jesus! Found the hash. Because of 44, you found the key tab extractor number 2, which gets all the hashes and not just the first one. Hallelujah! All right. That was some bullshit, is what that was. All right, hold on. Swear jar. There we go. Yeah, you got to learn exactly. All right. Let's go update this stuff in here. All right, so let's go back over to creds. So all this is dirty, filthy lying in here. Let's do this as Dracarys.lab. Cyrax $. Let's make some notes here. All right, NTLM, boom. AES 128. Let's go see if we can find that in the extracted file. And what was I saying? By learning where all this crap breaks down is where you learn where the faults are. Boop. All right. Hang on one second. I'm taking a note here because I'm thinking about putting this up on YouTube as a walkthrough, not a snippet from the live stream, but like, hey, cool, here's what we did. Here's the challenges that we actually came across with the lab that you might come across like in a real penetration test and how you can overcome them. Here's the example of how we did it in the lab. So hold on, I got to take a note here real quick. Let's see. Into a lot of issues with clock skew. Those were fixed by manually setting the time on the DC. Let's see, key tab. Extracted values were old and expired. Let's see. Had to use. Let me grab a copy of that tool real quick. To get a full list, and further down in the key tab file was the legit hashes. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. WTF, why is there so many entries in the key tab file? Is it just based on all of our older attempts to use variants? I don't think so. What was happening, I believe, is we've had this lab up for a while. It may have been over a month, and in which case it would have had, usually every 30 days, a machine joined to Active Directory would cycle its password. Assuming the Linux system is doing the same thing, then what it would do is go through and cycle it. In fact, I know for a fact that's what happened, Bobby. Because when we looked at when was the password last set for Cyrax, the machine account password was last set June 2nd. We've been working on Dracarys since before June 2nd, so it did cycle. I think that's why they're in the key tab file. It probably is keeping the current version and one older version. Yeah, I think that's what was happening. If I had to take a swag at it, a scientific wild ass guess. All right, hold on. I need to go through and verify the AES keys real quick before I commit them in here. So this is the 128 key. Copy. I gotta remember what the command was for NXC. So it's tac AES key. Drop that in. Let's make sure that one's gonna work. Hey, Cryptic Gaming, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome in. I'm so glad. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that beautiful hash. Words you probably didn't expect unless you were hanging out with a certain kind of crowd tonight. We're admiring the beauty of the hash. There we go. All right, let's grab that and AES. Let's go get the 256-bit version. Love me some biddies. Double the biddies, double the fun. Oh, wait, I clicked on the wrong thing. Damn it. Now I gotta wait 10 hours for it to cycle. All right, let's go find the 256 hash real fast. There we go. Let's go. No, stop it. Stop it. You stop it. Stop it. Copy that. Let's go make sure this one works. Sounds like my old crowd. Dude, my wife she constantly never knows if I'm on a phone call. She'll like poke her head in and she'll be whispering. She'll be like, hey, you want to call? I'm like, no, I'm not. It's like, who are you talking to? I was like, I'm talking to myself. I have to be self-entertaining sometimes so I don't cry. All right, cool. The 256 version works also. So let's go save that password hash. Damn it! We're practically out of time for tonight, which is not where I wanted to leave off. This is some bogusness. But think about this, right? What happened here is, let's go look at this real quick, right? So we extracted the key tab file. These are the hashes at the very beginning that we saw, right? I did not realize, because I'm learning a little bit about this too, about how Linux machines actually integrate over into Active Directory. They kept an old copy of the password hashes here in memory. So entry 1, 2, 3, these all look legit. However, they're outdated. They were from when the machine first spun up. Okay, kind of makes sense. Then as we come down, all of these are derivatives of those original hashes. So we go down, I think it was like entry 13 or something. Let me find it. Now here, entry 16. Then all of a sudden we have new entries right here with new sets of hashes. Bam. So this was after the passwords rotated. Boom. We get new hashes because we have a new password. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Except in this case, it was difficult, difficult, lemon, difficult. Oh, too funny. So think about this. The good thing about this is this was a pain in the butt, right? Because it was a pain in the butt, you won't forget it. Even if you don't remember the tool, you'll remember, wait a sec, I ran into this, and this is one of the absolute best things about learning during a CTF, is that when you sit in here and you actually fight with it and you struggle with it, that fight and that struggle buries it into your neurons. In case you didn't notice, our brains are not pain-seeking entities. They are pain avoidance entities. So whenever you're going through this and you're forcing yourself through the pain of learning and understanding and debugging and tearing shit apart, it's going to bury it into your neurons. You're going to remember, wait, I have had my proverbial hand burned by this fire before. There's a thing with the key tabs. What was it? Bam. It's going to come back. Cybersecurity is finding peace in the pain. Yeah, it kind of feels like that a lot of days. So understanding that you could try each in the list. Yeah, we could. And in fact, there was actually more down here. But now each kind of principle in here, you see how there's like, they're multiplied in here? Each of those is different ones. So it's just basically duplicating each one for each SPN, service principal name, in here. So that's why we have 30 entries in here. Makes sense. 30 entries. We had the first 15 covering the old password hash. Then we had another 15 covering the new password hash. Unless it's WSIS. Windows System Update Center, I think. God, what was WSIS again? Yeah, the Windows updating server. Then it just hurts you so bad your brain ejects for a safety measure. Oh, WSIS. Or, God, what was the other one? SCCM, Config Man, whatever the hell they're calling it now. Microsoft Windows Configuration Manager 2026 subsystem for Linux. Scout. God, Windows... They have so many problems, Microsoft does, but I swear number one on the list is consistent naming conventions. My goodness. Or Intune, don't get me started on Intune. Yeah. Yeah, actually, what we did for this one, Ty, that is a good breakdown for it, is we started by looking at which one for the service principal had Cyrax $, because that's the actual name of the computer account over in Active Directory. So this is where I started. So first one, entry 1, makes sense. We come down, we're going to see entry 16. Okay, hold on. I take it back. There's 3 of them in here because we have the NTLM, the AES 128, the AES 256. But after we get past those, then we get down to entry 16, which is 3 entries for each of those different service principles. And then that's where we actually started from. SysWow64 has entered the chat. No, banned. Ban him now. Where's Gumby? I need Gumby to ban him right now. SysWow64. Such a pain. All right. Anything else we need from this now? No, we should be good. Damn it. I did not expect that part to take the whole freaking lap. Hold up. Where did we get to in here? Let me pull up the drawing. This is, you know what? And I agree with you. This is how the whole weekend has been. Every little thing that I thought, oh, cool, this is going to be like a 10-minute job. I'm going to knock this out. I'm going to get a lot of things checked off my list. I'm going to get some good dopamine hits for completing tasks. And nature was just like, the fuck you will. I'm okay, Peaches. Yes, it's okay, baby. Yeah, I'm okay. Hang on, y'all. Since we're about to end the stream anyway, come here, Peaches. Come here, Tweety. Come here. I know you. Come here. You like to be on camera. Come here. Come here. Oh, you're so chunky. Come here, Peaches. Here's Peaches. There we go. There's Peaches. Hello, sweet. Who's my girl? You're happy because I cooked a brisket today. And there was just lots of trimmings. So she was super happy because she was getting all the little bits that fell down in the kitchen. Who's your good girl? Who's your good girl? You are a good girl. Okay. She's my little shadow. Follows me all over the house. All right. So, to recap, because now I'm getting pissed off and manic. Yes, that is my doggo. So we did do part of this. We got half the attack chain done. We set up the new spin over on used Viserion to set up the new spin over on Vhagar. So I'm gonna point that up there. Dude, just like that. That is a horrible arrow. There we go. So we set that new spin up on Vhagar, and that was this one right here for the Arax machine. Then we created Arax, and then this is where everything went to crap. Was doing the role-based constraint delegation on Syrax because we had the old hash. Cool. Yeah. She is a sweet dog, and our previous dog was actually her sister. Like, they were born in the same litter. And so they were both they're both like super food driven. So dogs usually have 2 primary drives. One of them will be food and one will be prey. Oh, there's actually a third one, play, really. And so when you're training them, you got to know which one is like their primary drive so you know how to reward them during training. I have not taken the time to train Peaches like I did Panda, my previous dog. But I can tell from my interactions with her, she is 100% food driven. So that's how I reward her. Give her treats. I was born in a litter of 3. I was the only one they kept. I can't see, Ken, I don't know if you're joking or if that's like legit family trauma you're just sharing right now. All right. Is anybody on the InfoSec streams? Nope, it's just us tonight. Let's see. All right, we got to go find somebody we can raid out to. Unfortunately, I do have work in the morning. I have a crap ton of work to get taken out. That was a joke, although I'm not above joking about actual trauma. Dude, I understand. You do literally have to laugh through the pain. All right, do me a favor. Anybody over on the Twitch side? Hold on, let me see who's on. Is Tyler still on again? I was really surprised to see Tyler online last night. Let's see. Who do we have over in Science and Tech right now? Danny's stream is on. Working on a mechanical goalie? Ooh, interesting. Glad we got that figured out because I can sleep now. It was driving me nuts. Yes, 44. I appreciate that, man. In fact, hang on. I gotta do something. If you come in with like some hot baller information, then I like to kind of pay it back. Hey, cool, the hex sparks worked. I got you, man, because it was driving me freaking insane. And you finding out about the additional key tab entries, which we got a hint of earlier from the K-list command, that was just game saving right there. Total clutch play, 10 out of 10, no notes. Let's see. Should we raid back over to Griffin? He's a fun dude, man. I was sad because he was actually here in town. I live in Dallas. He was visiting for a convention, and we just could not get together to hang out. I was really sad about that. Yeah, we'll go raid back over to Griffin. He is a super, like, cracked dev, too. Like, hella smart guy. Built lots of stuff in his day. All right, let me get that started. Do me a favor, guys. Whenever you get over to Griffin stream, drop a bunch of Hack the Planets and Happy Hackers. I will catch up with all y'all Wednesday night. We will do hacker news. Maybe we'll get some more news about Instagram absolutely failing with their AI agent, letting accounts get taken over, because, man, that was beautiful. I love that. And I think that's all I got for y'all tonight. What do you think? Yeah, that's it. I'll catch up with y'all Wednesday. Next Saturday, we'll go through, we'll finish poning Cyrax, we'll get over to Vagar, and then we'll continue on the lab, having a good time, hacking around, finding out. We found out a lot tonight. We had to hack around a lot tonight. That's how it goes. It's the name of the game. So everyone, y'all take care. You'll have a wonderful week. Remember, if it's already Monday, or soon to be Monday, Crushing It mode is about to go into full effect. So go into it. We do not go weekly into the week. We go crushing it into the week. Let's see. I think that's it. No, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Hold on. I know for a fact I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah. I love you. Peace.